The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is here, and just like the other available COVID-19 vaccines, it is safe and effective. Just one jab for now offers you protection against the serious risks of COVID-19, including lowering your risk of hospitalization and death. Get vaccinated to protect yourself and help reduce the spread of COVID-19. Make your appointment now at vax.gov.bs.
Relay, each team member must do his or her part in the race. If one member drops the baton, it impacts all of us. Across all ages, genders, abilities, nationalities, cultures, or religion, we are all on the same team. And we all have a role to play in getting to the finish line to win the race against COVID-19. Don't drop the baton on safety. Wear your mask over your mouth and nose. Keep at least 3 feet distance from others. Do not touch your face, and wash or sanitize your hands often. Together, we will win.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, Bahamian icon Sir Sidney Poitier has died. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation sharing plans on the way forward for the Grand Bahama International Airport. And Grand Bahama expected to get a major economic boost in the coming months. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Jamila Missick. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the life and legacy of Bahamian icon Sir Sidney Poitier being remembered as the prolific actor, civil rights activist, and ambassador passed away last evening. The nation's leader, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, holding a press briefing today, extending condolences to Sir Sidney's family as he reflected on his many accomplishments. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis calling a special press briefing on the passing of Bahamian Ambassador Sir Sidney Poitier.
Our whole Bahamas grieves and extends our deepest condolences to his family. But even as we mourn, we celebrate the life of a great Bahamian, a cultural icon, an actor and film director, an entrepreneur, civil and human rights activist, and latterly a diplomat. We admire the man not just because of his colossal achievements, but also because of who he was, his strength of character, his willingness to stand up and be counted, and the way he plotted and navigated his life's journey.
The retired actor, film director, activist, and ambassador became Hollywood's first black movie star and could be described as the most famous Bahamian. In 1964, he won the Academy Award for Best Actor, becoming the first black male and Bahamian actor to win that award. Prime Minister Davis commending Sir Sidney's life's accomplishments.
The boy who moved from the tomato farm of Cat Island to become a waiter in the United States. The young man who not only taught himself to read and write, but who made the expression of words and thoughts and feelings central to his career. The man who expressed his rage against racial injustice through quiet dignity. The humanitarian who used his steely determination not just to better himself, but to better the world that he lived in, filtered through the milk of human kindness. And all of it achieved without sacrificing integrity, charm, elegance, or wit.
Now in 2012, the bridge to Paradise Island in New Providence was officially named after Sir Sidney. Prime Minister Davis says he believes that Bahamian icon was given his flowers while he was alive.
Well, I think we did a lot to give him his flowers while he was alive, but we have not done enough, I think. We intend to sit as a government to determine what else we can do to mark his bearing in the Bahamas and the world. And that will be a discussion we have, and in due course we'll unfold what we intend to do.
Prime Minister Davis noting that the country is in mourning and instructed that the Bahamian flag be flown at half-mast at home and at embassies around the world. Sir Sidney Poitier died at the age of 94. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, touring the Grand Bahama International Airport while on Grand Bahama yesterday. The domestic terminal at the airport has been in a dilapidated and inoperable state since Hurricane Dorian in 2019. Tonight, the minister is expressing his frustration with the lack of progress to date and is sharing plans on the way forward for the facility. Calling it a distressing experience, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, expressing his displeasure with the condition of the Grand Bahama International Airport. He says, over a period of 2 years, very little has been done to improve the facility.
It is a constant reminder of Hurricane Dorian and the circumstances faced by our people here in Grand Bahama. We are thankful to the staff who provide services here at this airport. Under very difficult circumstances, they persist in providing a service to the general public, and we are thankful to them.
Now, the minister notes that they visited the location shortly after the general election to ensure that it was safe to operate. However, their concern now is about the working conditions.
We're comfortable that we can accommodate our international partners who bring, and our local airline partners who bring guests to this island. We are deeply concerned about the conditions that our people work in. And we have discussed, along with the Minister of Grand Bahama, some of the short-term fixes that we are going to be examining to see whether we can bring those into fruition fairly quickly. We are hoping to attract big investors here to the island of Grand Bahama. So over and beyond the sheer pain to our residents, it is not a welcoming experience for investors to Grand Bahama. We're hoping to be able to do a deal on the Grand Lucayan Hotel over the next few months. And the natural first question of any investor arriving to the island will be, my God, what are you going to do with this airport?
Cooper says after touring the site, they have made some determinations.
Notwithstanding the fact that we are going to do a PPP on this airport in the medium to long term, there has to be some immediate short-term fixes. We will have that discussion with our colleagues at Cabinet very shortly with some specific proposals provided by the executives of the Airport Authority and our staff here on the ground at this airport to see how we are able to bring some immediate relief to the operations here.
And he says while the domestic airport fared relatively well compared to the other parts of the facility, they are considering temporary measures.
Naturally, with big plans to build a world-class airport here, there is the natural inclination not to want to invest more money here into old buildings, but I think it's an immediate need, and therefore I go back to my colleagues and the board of the Airport Authority, and we will urge them to give us the support to cause there to be some fixes.
Grand Bahama expected to get a major economic boost in the coming months, beginning with the spring break season. Hundreds of visitors are expected on the island to take part in an event dubbed the Spring Break Experience. The Ministry of Tourism and Bahamas Air partnering with high-profile music group to host a weekend of non-stop fun, excitement, and entertainment on March 31st through April 4th at the Viva Wyndham Fortuna Resort. Ramiko Knowles tells us more.
Big shouts to DJ Mars.
The Spring Break Experience was held in Haiti in 2018 and 2019, but this year the event will take place in Grand Bahama at the Viva Fortuna Resort. Event organizer and popular DJ Lovins Giddin, also known as DJ Stacks, says it is a highly anticipated event.
Like I said, originally started in Haiti, and even with it being in Haiti at the time, it was really 60% Haitians and 40% everybody else, like Trinidadians, Jamaicans, all types of people. So not being able to do it in Haiti, after that, due to the unrest, I started doing my research, and I still wanted to keep the vibes close as possible and keep the energy. So I felt like the energy in the Bahamas is super dope. I've been here before. I like the vibes.
He adds that the event will feature a star-studded DJ cast.
So far, I have DJ Youngchild that's on Hot 97. He's Trinidadian, also Brooklyn raised, such as myself, Brooklyn born. I have Easy Pass and K-Dog, who are part of HPMG. I have DJ Nori, which is on Power 105, which represents dancehall as well. I have DJ Vargas. I have a whole leap. I have a super dope staff. DJ Big Reef, who's on WBLS. So as you see, there's a bunch of different radio stations covered. And I also plan on getting local DJs involved as well.
Niche Markets Manager at the Ministry of Tourism, Nuvolari Chaduzing, says the event will serve as a major boost to the economy. Sales executive with Bahamas Air, Wilfred Mullings, adds that the airline is pleased to take part in the event and they will be offering special packages.
We are thankful to the HPMG group for choosing Grand Bahama Island. This group will be bringing in some 400 people at the end of March to early April as part of their spring break activities. And it's not just Viva Fortuna that will be benefiting, but also other partners on the island, such as Paris Cove. They'll be hosting a private event there as well. Also at Maxie's down in Williamstown. And of course, all of the tour operator providers that will be benefiting from this group. This is a really big group for Grand Bahama at this time.
Now to learn more about the event, you can visit www.springbreaks.com.
DJ Stacks and his crew reached out to Bahamas Air inquiring about getting a charter from Fort Lauderdale directly into Freeport, hence why we're here today. The charter is going to be dubbed, it's going to be a Bahamas Air charter, but it's going to be dubbed DJ Air Stacks for that particular event, and we're really looking forward to that and bringing those folks over for the short hop from Fort Lauderdale into Grand Bahama. And also, with this event going on during that time of year, we're going to give other Bahamians the opportunity from Nassau or any other family islands to come into Grand Bahama for that weekend.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
In other news, Financial Secretary Simon Wilson making a presentation on the government's decision to reduce VAT during the weekly press briefing at the office of the Prime Minister in the nation's capital. Wilson explaining why VAT was applied to breadbasket items.
Domestic zero rating of goods were eliminated. And in the media, that's referred to as breadbasket, applying VAT on breadbasket goods. But it's really simplifying the tax system, making it more equitable for everybody, and reducing the burden on the small businesses. As you know, on breadbasket items, which comprise for many small businesses, small retail grocery stores, the majority of their sales, those persons could not recover the VAT on the sale of those goods. So many small businesses, small grocery stores, had to carry accounts receivables, VAT receivables from the government, refund receivables for a long period of time. So that change was made, which really benefits small businesses.
He says reduction in VAT from 12% to 10% will benefit all.
the reduction from 12% and 10% covered all goods, including land sales. So overall, the cost or the tax liability for Bahamians was reduced on January 1st. In the bigger context, this is part of the government's initiative to bring in equity and fairness to the tax system. There are some other things that will be taking place which will be announced during the mid-year budget in the Prime Minister's communication, as well as the annual budget. The Prime Minister in the supplementary budget indicated that the rate, GDP to tax rate, will increase from the present level to 25%. That can only happen if the system is more fairer and more equitable for everybody. Based on all the calculations, this reduction is going to be revenue neutral and actually slightly positive in terms of revenue yield. So it's not going to result in an increase of the fiscal deficit. That's a very important point. So this is not a reckless, populist act, rather a measured act to improve the livelihoods of ordinary Bahamians.
Majority Rule will be celebrated around the Bahamas on Monday, January 10th. It commemorates the Bahamas gaining majority rule for the first time on January 10th, 1967, symbolizing the promise of equality, a level playing field, and fair play for all Bahamians. This singular event in Bahamian history played a significant role in shaping the modern Bahamas we experience today. Here in Grants, Bahama, an ecumenical service is planned for this coming Sunday, January 9th at First Baptist Church on Nansen Avenue at 3 p.m. The Minister for Grants, Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, will give remarks. The sermon will be delivered by Minister Marcus Cooper of Cleveland Baptist Church in East Grants, Bahama. Seating is limited and the service will be streamed live on First Baptist Church, Freeport, Bahamas Facebook page. A decision expected soon on the Grants Bahama Power Company's application for a rate adjustment. This coming through a press statement issued by the Grants Bahama Port Authority. The GBPA, in its regulatory capacity with responsibility for the power sector in Grants Bahama and oversight of Grants Bahama Power Company, has been conducting a 45-day public consultation on GBPC's rate application. The release adds that as part of its due diligence and engagement with key stakeholders, including a virtual town hall meeting and ongoing discussions with GBPC, additional matters and revisions have been tabled, which necessitate further deliberation. The regulatory committee is extending the review period of 14 days, ending on January 14th, at which time a final decision will be rendered and communicated. The number of new COVID-19 infections in the country remains in the triple digits. 421 cases were reported on Wednesday, January 5th. New Providence accounted for 378 of those new cases, 33 on Grants Bahama, 1 each on Abaco and Bimini and Cat Key. Exuma recorded 4 new cases, Long Island 2, and locations are pending for 2. Of those cases, 150 have traveled within the last 14 days. Men account for 202 of the new cases and women 219. The increase in hospitalizations continues, with 84 hospitalized with 4 in the ICU. The death toll remains at 717. And in news from the courts, 44-year-old Marcus Bailey of Williamstown was arraigned this morning before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson on 1 count of attempted murder. He was not required to enter a plea. Bailey was also arraigned on 2 counts of possession of an unlicensed firearm with intent to endanger life and 1 count each of possession of ammunition, possession of an unlicensed firearm, and causing damage. He pleaded not guilty to those charges and bail was denied. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services until April 8th this year. Stay with us, there's more news right after this break.
Alive brings to you the iPhone 12 64 gigs for $249 when you switch to Alive postpaid. Alive, believe in best.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
There's no reason to skip holiday traditions this year once you know the facts about COVID-19 vaccines. These vaccines are safe and effective at preventing severe illness, hospitalization, and death. They've been placed through rigorous clinical trials and are used in countries throughout the world. Data confirms that vaccines can also provide protection against variants of the virus, including the Delta strain. COVID-19 vaccines help to protect you by teaching your body how to fight the virus. Without the vaccine, you and your family may be at risk of serious lifelong complications from a COVID-19 infection. By being vaccinated, you can remove regret and fear that someone you love will be impacted or die from COVID-19.
Merry Christmas to you.
Persons wishing to be vaccinated should visit the website vax.gov.bs. The Ministry of Health and Wellness also encourages persons to pay attention to announcements on when a pop-up vaccination center will be hosted near you. This message is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority. The Public Hospitals Authority, working together for best quality health care.
Boy, look at that, boy. I see it, boy. Let's go, let's go. Hold on, boy. Let me get the window, Boy, hurry up, boy. Open it. Boy, let's go, boy. Let's slide out, boy. Let's go. Man, I following you. What a sick, boy. That's the man, boy.
During this holiday season, when you would have purchased your gifts, household appliances, and valuables, do not leave these boxes in front of your yard. Ensure that when you leave your residence, that the windows are not open and the doors unlocked. Please ensure that you secure your premises. Do not become a victim of crime.
This message is brought to you by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, creating safer communities.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Tonight, we say farewell to reporter Megan Shepard, who has left us to pursue other professional interests.
Wrath of Hurricane Irma, best beach in the Caribbean, Bahamas, and blowing about. They will become projectiles, and we do not want anyone to get into the International Bazaar in the month of November. That's it.
Yeah, Megan is gonna be missed. She always strikes me as that type of employee that's always willing to do more. She's always out the box with her creativity as a reporter, and that's gonna be missed here.
I've had the opportunity to work alongside you for the past 3 years, and you've been a great colleague, and we've grown to be friends. And I must say that when I heard the news, I was truly heartbroken. Psych, I wasn't, but I was definitely saddened, and you will be missed. And I definitely want to say that I wish you the best in all of your future endeavors.
She had played an important role in the news here at ZNS, and she's like a sister to me. And I just want to tell you I love you. God speed, God blessings, God health, God strength, and success in your life.
Good. Such a pleasure to work with you. I remember you coming here as a young reporter, and I've seen you grow and evolve over the years as a seasoned reporter in Northern Service. And I just want to say God's blessing to you.
Well, Megan, we have watched you come here from a summer student all the way up to anchoring the news, and so you've made a wonderful contribution, and we just want to thank you for your service and wish you well in the next chapter of your life.
You would definitely be missed. Wherever you go, I know I have no reservations that you will continue to shine and soar like the eagle you are.
Including having only one fire.
It was such a pleasure to work with you, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, whatever they may be.
I'm going to miss your jovial spirit. I wish you Godspeed in your new endeavors. Good luck, and I shall miss you dearly.
Megan, it was a joy and a pleasure to have you work in a professional atmosphere at the Broadcasting Corporation. I want to wish you very well on your endeavor in the future. We pray God's guidance with you and blessings always.
I know me working with you personally over the years, you always, it was a hard worker, always get the job done, and you was always good at what you do. So continue to carry that same attitude over to where you are going. And yes, continue to be great.
Megan, I'm going to really miss you. It's been about 17 years since I've known you. We actually went to high school together, so we do have a real relationship, I would believe. But I just want to wish you best wishes with your future endeavors. You'll be in Nassau, my hometown, so we'll be in touch. I just want to say we will miss you. I'll personally miss you here in the Northern Bahamas, and just wish best wishes for you moving forward.
We must say thank you to Megan for her contributions. Megan, just continue to strive for excellence, and God bless you always.
First of all, I don't know who told you can leave me here, but I'm so proud of you. I'm so thankful that I got to meet you. I'm so happy for you and your future endeavors. I wish you all the best, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the help you've given me over the years since I've known you. And now it is time for a check on sports with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. Busy weekend ahead in sports, but let's start this one off with high school hoops. The Falcons senior boys basketball team recently returned home after competing in the Arby's Classic in Bristol, Tennessee. In their first game, the Falcons lost to Earl Hamilton Hurricanes 56-53 and lost again in their second game in a close one to Twin Springs Titans 55-50. However, Coach Clark says he was pleased with his team's overall effort.
The kids played well, After not playing for 2 years competitively, I thought it was a good experience for them. They gave it their all, but like I always tell my guys, if you don't control the things that you can control, then you're going to end up being in trouble, and it's going to end up costing you the game down the stretch, and that's what happened, pretty much in both games.
The Falcons got some quality minutes from senior point guard Jaden Pinder.
He was erratic at times, which was kind of expected. Not playing, like I said earlier, for almost 2 years, and then not only that, against the caliber of talent that we were going up against. We had guys that were assigned with the University of Tennessee, Kansas. You name the high major guys, they were there. But Jaden did a good job. He had us in position to win both games, and we just ended up falling short.
The senior boys team had a pretty young core that Clark says played well for the most part. From high school hoops to the pros, Jonquel Jones and her UMMC EuroLeague women's basketball team defeated Team Samara 97-77 to improve to a perfect 12-0 on the season. Her UMMC team, who are the defending champions, will be in action again on Sunday, where they will face Persever Juba Rostov in the Russian Women's Basketball Premier League. And finally in sports, Week 18 of the NFL schedule for the 2021 season is stacked with some great matchups, and we've got you covered with what you need to know heading into the weekend. Some key games to look out for will be the matchup between the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Grant Beam and Michael Strawn and his Indianapolis Colts will take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Have a great weekend.
dreams reality.
Hello, I am Constable 3399 Alexander Williams of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, Grand Bahama. Did you know that in October 2019, amendments were made to the Road Traffic Act? These amendments included such offenses as driving without having in your possession your insurance certificate, which carries a fine of $200, driving while not having in your possession your driver's license, which carries a fine of $40, driving while using an electronic communication device, which carries a fine of $500, driving while having an open alcoholic beverage, which also carries a fine of $500. Road safety is all of our responsibility. Join us as we work together to create safer communities.
And then that's it. All right. Yes, I just need a radio and a cloak.
Wait, it's on, wait.
Be mindful that criminals are looking for a safe target. We would like to assist you in not becoming a victim of car theft. Do not leave your keys in the ignition of your vehicle unattended. Please ensure that your vehicle...
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Eulene Augustine, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We appreciate your support. And we'd like to send birthday greetings to Elsa Neely, who is celebrating today. We hope you enjoyed. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Jamila Mizik. Have a wonderful weekend. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. The Prime Minister pays tribute to icon to Sidney Poitier on his passing. Reflections on majority rule. The Hotel Union president looking to benefit from free COVID testing. And the Bahamas Retired Boxers Association formed. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC's Superfast Extreme Internet Bundle. Make Christmas sparkle. Sign up today.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Jiminita Swain. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news today, the Bahamas and the international film world are mourning the death of Hollywood icon Sir Sidney Poitier. Sir Sidney's life and career reflected the changing times for people of color. The Prime Minister led tributes today, as Kishla Adderley tells us.
I've instructed that the Bahamian flag be flown at half-mast at home and in our embassies around the world. We know the world mourns with us. Sir Sidney's light will continue to shine brightly for generations to come.
From humble Cat Island roots, Sir Sidney Poitier was a class act the world got to know. His life and times on screen and off reflecting the changing scenes of life for people of color locked in and out of misperceptions of who they were and who they could become. Sir Sidney broke ground with roles like the 1950s film No Way Out, as his daughter Pamela remembers.
So it was a breakout role. It was a breakout film because it turned it around. Professionals were was this African American man, and the downtrodden or the poor people were the white people. So it gave us a sense of We can be somebody. We do have value.
That film was banned in many places, including the Bahamas, by the Bay Street Censorship Board because it broadcast a bold message and shattered the status quo. But that groundbreaking role was just the beginning. The classic Guess Who's Coming to Dinner served up another dose of the changing reality of race relations. Actor Cedric Scott remembers the man he saw as a father figure as humble. He recalls a classic interview response.
He simply said, just a barefoot boy with attitude. That was Sidney.
Though simple he may have seen himself, Sir Sidney bridged a significant gap. In 2012, he returned home as the government named the northbound Paradise Island Bridge in his honor. He took the opportunity to speak to the youth about their future.
You are the gifts, the golden gifts of ancestors long gone. You are the magic future of your education. The journey you are destined to make through your lifetime will be registered in the annals of history for centuries to come.
Sir Sidney was the recipient of the 2009 Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor, by President Barack Obama. His credits also include starring roles in 1963's Lilies of the Field, the role that led to one of his crowning accomplishments, a Best Actor Academy Award, the first person of color to accomplish the feat. Poitier was knighted by the Queen in 1979, and he served the Bahamas as ambassador to Japan and UNESCO. Back home, Prime Minister Davis remembers the pride of Cat Island and Hollywood's elite as a life and character to emulate.
The humanitarian who used his steely determination not just to better himself, but to better the world that he lived in, filtered through the milk of human kindness, and all of it achieved without sacrificing integrity, charm, elegance, or wit. These things don't come easily, but the fight can be good. Your peers don't give you an Oscar, you win an Oscar.
Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, several local leaders also paying tributes to the global trailblazer. Our Desmond Sanders has this.
Condolences continue to pour in on the passing of Cat Island native and global icon Sir Sidney Poitier. Today, local dignitaries calling him a true pioneer.
You know, I was so saddened this morning when Dave called me and told me about the passing of Sir Sidney. He was one of the greatest Bahamians that God ever put bread in. He made us so proud as a people, you know, to live in the times that Sir Sidney lived in. In the 60s, when we were growing up as a young boy in school in Florida, and he was already a movie star, making all of us feel so proud to be Bahamians, knowing that a young man from Cat Island on Mason Edition, East Street, could have reached to the paramount height of getting an Academy Award in 1964, Lilies of the Fields, the first black man in the world ever in the history of mankind to have won such a prestigious award, being a Bahamian.
Sir Sidney was one of those Bahamians who, or black actors, I should say, who won a prestigious international award as a black person. And, you know, his impact not only on this country, but on the world at large, on the performance he would have had in the acting world, would have made him one of those icons, I would call, as an actor.
Now, several years ago, this former Paradise Island Bridge was renamed in Sir Sidney's honor, former Prime Minister Perry Christie reliving that moment.
We thought it was important to seize the opportunity to recognize one of the greatest sons the country has produced, Sir Sidney Poitier. We thought it important that future generations, whatever they heard, whatever they read, would know his beginnings, to know that a family from Cat Island went to Miami. He was born, not planned at that time, but born there, and as a result, the rest is history. We took the occasion to remind Bahamians that Sidney Poitier was a man who never allowed himself to be diminished in every way in the roles he played in the movies.
Sir Sidney Poitier, dead at 94, leaving a lasting legacy for generations yet unborn. Here, the Sir Sidney Poitier Bridge. Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
A former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingraham, also reflecting on the life of Sir Sidney. He said as a black actor in America, he played an important role in the struggles for civil rights. On the local scene, he said Sir Sidney accepted his government's invitation to serve as a non-resident ambassador for the Bahamas to Japan. Mr. Ingraham says he was also pleased when the PLP government named the bridge in Sir Sidney's honor. In extending condolences, Mr. Ingraham called Sir Sidney a premier son of the Bahamas. Also, 58 years ago, a nation with bated breath watched as Bahamian Sir Sidney Poitier went on to become the first black man to win an Academy Award. But today, a nation of Bahamians, country, or rather sit somber, mourning the loss of one of our very own. Anthony Smith tells us more.
An indelible mark left on persons nationwide. Sir Sidney Poitier, actor, activist, son of the soil, passed on at age 94. Though gone from this world, never to be forgotten is his life and legacy, and the impact he's undoubtedly made on everyday Bahamians.
Because here it is now someone who sat in the same school that we sat in, someone who went to the same church that we went to, someone who went the same fields that we went to, who went the same crabbing grounds, who went the same fishing grounds, was now on the world scene and mesmerizing the entire world. And you can imagine what a joy it was.
A Cat Island man dubbed Hollywood's first black film star, a big name who never forgot the country from which he came, his contributions, whether to the Bahamian suffrage movement or culture as a whole, propelling the nation forward. Though to some, his smallest acts made the biggest difference as a patron for the arts, quietly making room for other Bahamians hoping to follow in his footsteps.
We cannot mention all of the events but we are appreciative of what he has done for the choir. We are appreciative for what he has opened up for individuals, artists, and even the Bahamas National Youth Choir in allowing us to get into platforms that we knew, or doors that we knew we could not open. And so we appreciate that Cat Island roots.
His legacy, a lesson.
One of the biggest lessons that we can learn, especially our boys and girls, you have a dream. Keep focused. Don't let anybody steal that dream away from you, regardless of where you might be from. Auckland, Crooked Island, Long Key, Cat Island, wherever in the Bahamas.
So how do you think a man whose art transcends generations and whose strides will forever be etched in the annals of history?
In other news, the country will celebrate 55 years of majority rule with an ecumenical service at Living Waters Kingdom Ministries on Monday, January 10th. The service is set for 10 a.m. at the church on Warren Street, that's in Oaksfield, and Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis and other parliamentarians will attend. The Cabinet Office advises that COVID-19 safety protocols established by the Bahamas Christian Council will be followed. Attendees are expected to be seated by 9:45 a.m. Well, the majority rule holiday just a few days from being observed, but the vice chair of the Progressive Liberal Party, Obi Roberts, says it's a day all Bahamians should remember, one that was hard fought for many people. And Roberts reflected on the changes that majority rule ushered in.
Education, place of employment. Some persons didn't realize that blacks couldn't work in banks in this country, and many persons fought for those things. We need to continue to educate our people on our history, particularly our modern day history, we take a lot of time in understanding other countries' historical significance, like I pointed to at another time at Martin Luther King, which contributed tremendously to America. But also, we also had freedom fighters in this country, both men and women, both black and white, who created, paved the way for us to enjoy the life that we live today.
He also reflected on the contributions of Sir Sidney to majority rule.
We in the Bahamas in the 60s, we were hand in hand with the turbulent civil rights fight that America was going through. So you had Sir Sidney, who was the first black, one of the first black actors and first to win an Oscar. He was very intricate in the advancement and delivering of the majority rule with the incoming pending government. People wasn't aware of that. All right, in terms of my research, his relationships, his connections, his introduction to Sir Lyndon and many of the persons of that pending government to many persons in the United States and around the world. It was a tremendous contribution he made, and this is why I'm here today, and others, not just me, but others who also speak about our history, that it needs to be educated, it needs to be known, not only in our academic system, but national discussions.
Well, still to come, the Foreign Affairs Minister speaking out on migration issues. The details of that and other stories when the Bahamas Tonight continues after the break.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell Holiday Extravaganza.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Last year, we couldn't celebrate Christmas as we wanted to. So for this year, we had everything planned. 100,000 watts of lights, 10-foot-tall tree, best table ever, custom t-shirts, DJ, and we also had Uncle Billy, who forgot the KFC buckets in the car with the keys inside.
Step back.
With KFC Junkanoo Buckets, you can enjoy the holiday season this year no matter what. Savor this Christmas with Junkanoo Buckets, only at KFC Nassau.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital Wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Foreign Affairs Minister the Honorable Fred Mitchell says talks continue with international partners regarding Haiti as the Bahamian government continues on the defensive to tackle migration from the challenged nation.
We are in the middle of discussions with the United States government and other governments across the hemisphere
to talk about what we can do to support what's going on in the Haitian political process. Fortunately, we have a Royal Bahamas Defense Force which has been quite alert, and we've been able to catch people. We should be getting them a bit farther away from the border, but we've been able to get people who are irregular migrants and return them to the country. It's important for us to do that. We've also signed an agreement with the British and the Turks and Caicos Islands on OPBAT to extend the provisions of OPBAT to assist with that program. So it's just vigilance at the border to make sure that we get on top of this problem and our economy is not swamped.
Well, this fourth wave of COVID seeing a steady increase in new infections, with Thursday's dashboard from the Ministry of Health recording 388 cases. The majority of those cases here in the capital with 344, Grand Bahama with 34, Abaco with 3 cases, Bimini and Catkey with 1, Eleuthera with 3 cases, Exuma with 2, and Long Island also reporting 1 case. 45 of those new infections show a history of travel within the last 14 days. Of those in hospital, 77 are moderately ill and 6 are in the intensive care unit. Active cases currently stand at 4,567. Well, the Ministry of Health making adjustments to public health measures for people who test positive for COVID-19 or are in close contact of positive cases. According to a press statement, if you have tested positive with an RT-PCR rapid antigen test and are asymptomatic or have mild to moderate illness and are not immunocompromised, you should isolate for 7 days, and on day 5, 6, or 7, you can take another test. If it's negative, you can be released. However, you must wear an N95 or KN95 mask for up to 3 days after release. Now, if you have tested positive and you're severely symptomatic or immunocompromised, you should isolate for 20 days and continue to monitor the severity of your symptoms. You should also consult with a physician who will determine when you can be released. Now, just a reminder, quarantine is used to separate people who are well but may have been exposed to COVID-19. If you have been exposed to someone who has tested positive and you are fully vaccinated and are not immunocompromised, you are not required to quarantine. However, after you are informed of your exposure, you should take a test on day 5. Limit your movement to only essential activities such as medical care and work if the necessary protective measures are in place until your day 5 test results return as negative. If you are unvaccinated and are not immunocompromised, you are required to quarantine for 10 days. On day 10, you can take a test, RT-PCR or rapid antigen. Well, a virtual town hall meeting called Together Against COVID-19 will be held on Tuesday, January 11th at 8 p.m. It's a part of a public education campaign by the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Office of the Prime Minister. The theme of the town hall is Ask the Doctors and will feature health professionals and experts who will address the public's questions arising from the virus, vaccines, boosters, and overall protection and personal responsibility during this pandemic. The public is asked to send questions about the virus, mass testing, vaccines, the booster shot, and more to OPM Communications at bahamas.gov.bs by Sunday, January 9th. The questions will be addressed on Tuesday, January 11th at 8 p.m. live on the Office of the Prime Minister's official Facebook page. Well, free COVID testing begins tomorrow here in the country, and many residents are looking forward to taking advantage of the savings. However, there is one industry group asking the government to take testing a step further. Carla Palmer reports.
President of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Darren Woods, welcomes the news of free COVID testing by the government. It's an issue he's been advocating for over the course of the pandemic on behalf of his membership.
We noticed that they've started pilot programs, and so we reached out to the government to ensure that the members of the hotel union could be a part of this initial process, which would now cause them not to have to pay for this testing. Because when you look at it now, it may be as a broad, straight across the board, right? But we want to kind of narrow it down to particular agency, industry, our industry, because our people are on the front line.
Some hotel properties like Atlantis are requiring unvaccinated employees to be tested before entering the workplace. A financial burden, according to Woods, on a sectoral group that have been adversely affected since the start of the pandemic. Many of them, he says, have to go in their pocket in excess of $70 a month.
The hotel is now requiring the unvaccinated employees to test twice a week. So you see what I'm saying? So when I would have tested 4 times in a month, I had to pay for it. I now have to test 8 times in a month and pay for it. And you look at an industry that is still struggling to rebound, persons working reduced days, and when you say to them now that they have to come up and pay out of their pockets in order to go to work, whatever the fee is, anything that you attach to someone who's already struggling, further push them down and put a burden on them.
Woods says he has already reached out to Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Chester Cooper, who holds the portfolio for tourism, and the Minister of Health, the Honourable Dr. Michael Darville, of his request.
I'm optimistic that it will be resolved because based on what the government is trying to do, right? And if they're able to, when we're able to achieve the free testing, beyond the pilot program and beyond persons being able to fit into this program, and once you reach to a mass testing as is done in other countries where it's free, then we all have a win-win situation. So I believe it's going to be resolved at the end of the day.
The hotel union president says he's hopeful a positive word comes as early as this Saturday. That's when the free testing is scheduled to begin at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, with the country's economic recovery steadily on track and the leading industry, tourism on the upswing, President of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Darren Woods, is optimistic. He tells ZNS News in his update of several hotel properties positioning themselves to get back on track and welcome guests. Good news, he says, not only for the country, but for his union members as well.
Other properties, we're waiting to see what's going to happen with the Life at Key Club as they move forward to complete their renovations. That should have been, or we're reaching out to the management team out there. But of course, the Hilton and all that, they're holding their own because, of course, that's a business hotel. And so the Traveler is kind of a little different. And then, of course, we have the Ocean Club, where we still, persons are going back and there's still some challenges there. But nothing that we're trying to be on top of those things.
Woods also spoke of Club Med on San Salvador.
San Salvador, we had a discussion with the Deputy Prime Minister who's responsible for tourism, and there are all indications that the San Sal property will be opening a little bit earlier because, of course, they had indicated they weren't going to be opening until December 2022. But there seemed to be a move afoot to get it open as early as 6 months earlier, which will take us into June. And so once that happens, then, of course, the persons who will be going back to work down there will be going back to work earlier. So we're looking at it by the end of the first quarter. At the time, there was 170 persons, just under 180 persons employed at the club. That's just not the GOs, but the bargaining unit personnel.
In other news, the Davis administration will repeal the tax on patron winnings, the brainchild of the Minister administration. Now, while the legislation was passed, Minister of Economic Affairs, the Honorable Michael Alquita, says the Bahamas will not miss any revenue as taxation had never come into effect. The tax would have seen gaming house patrons pay a 5% fee on winnings up to $1,000 and 7.5% on anything more than $1,000.
We decided that we will do away with it. It had, as you know, been the source of a legal action as well as a lot of debate, so we decided we'll just do away with it. The gaming industry is, if you look at it in terms of their taxation, not only versus casinos, but versus other businesses, is very, very heavily taxed. And so we believe that, it's just better to do away with it.
Also tonight, former Director of Environmental Planning and Protection, Rochelle Newbold, will now serve as Special Advisor on Climate Change and Environmental Matters in the Office of the Prime Minister. This comes as the Davis administration moves to strengthen its climate change agenda. Rihanna Neely, who has a doctorate in environmental policy and risk management, now takes the helm of Director of Environmental Planning. Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, says the new positions took effect on January 4th.
You can imagine, having led the technical team at COP26, Mrs. Newbold is well placed to advise on the implementation of the government's multi-agency priorities, from carbon credits, you're going to talk about that, to our new international commitments around climate change. Prime Minister is being seen worldwide as the lead on climate change, particularly from the Caribbean. And so we're shoring up our role in this capacity by ensuring we have the experts and the expertise right here in the office to advise us on the way forward. Prime Minister Davis said in his blueprint for change that our administration signaled the importance and priorities we place on issues relating to the environment and climate change. And you can see we're doing that by making sure we have the right people in place.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
Maurice Scott is making waves in the sport of rowing. The Bahamas, known for our beautiful waters, can now add rowing oasis to our dossier.
My experience has been amazing. The hospitality here is great. The culture here is great. The water is flat, so I'm able to get true and accurate numbers without it being influenced by wind or any type of current. Bright and early in the mornings, it's not super hot, it's just right. So everything's been good. I've tried the food here. That was another reason why I chose the Bahamas, because I heard the Caribbean food is on point. So obviously I had to go and try that, and also the beach and everything. Everything that's around here is just so great and awesome. Has a lot of potential to be, one of the best courses in the world.
Scott notes his upbringing in the United States and details his introduction to the sport of rowing.
I grew up, born and raised in the city of Philadelphia, that's in the state of Pennsylvania in the U.S. And pretty much when I was going through the sport, I didn't really see anybody that looked like me in the sport. My dad, he brought me to a race in Philadelphia, which is a big hub for rowing in the United States. And he pretty much asked me what I saw, and I told him that I didn't see any minorities, specifically black people, involved with it. And I was always a water kid, so I always wanted to be involved with the water. And he just brought me there and stated that I can still do it even though I didn't see anybody that looked like me. So I started.
For more information on rowing in the Bahamas, contact the Nassau Rowing Club. I'm Elacta Knowles, and this is Tourism Today.
1/3 of all traffic fatalities occur as a result of excessive speed. In the inner city, residential areas, and high pedestrian traffic areas, the speed limit ranges from 15 to 25 miles per hour. On the outskirts of the island, especially where a sign is not posted, the speed limit 30 miles per hour. The maximum speed limit is 45 miles per hour. On behalf of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, please slow down.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Congratulations, you've won. Please go inside for your reward.
What I win?
1 out of 100 daily fuel rewards for a month. Please go inside to collect your reward.
That's like 3,000 people. But I don't ever win. Now I know you won't swing at me.
So I ain't gonna say it no more. You don't want your thing, say. Quay, that's you?
No, about English.
Yes! Wait, I just win!
Enjoy more holiday rewards at Rubis. Fuel, swipe, and win.
Look, I don't know who Sean they think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you, but I need you to go faster. Be better.
Don't miss the Shell Holiday Extravaganza for a chance to win over $40,000 in amazing prizes. It's easy to win. Fuel up with $20 gas at any Shell service station. Complete the entry form on your receipt. Take a picture of it and WhatsApp it to 422-0271 or upload it at winwithshellbahamas.com for a chance to win cash, staycations, grocery vouchers, Jumbo gift certificates, free fuel, and so much more. Conditions apply. Happy holidays from Shell.
Omicron is the most transmissible variant yet, and Bahamians have a lot of questions. The Office of the Prime Minister is bringing together medical experts to discuss the new variant and how to stay safe. Please send us your questions about the virus, masks, testing, vaccines, the booster shot, and more. You can send those questions to opmcommunications@bahamas.gov.bs. Send them by Sunday, January 9th. Then join us on Tuesday, January 11th at 8 p.m. live on the Office of the Prime Minister's official Facebook page for a virtual town hall meeting to learn about the government's plan to fight the virus and to hear your questions answered by the experts. These are very challenging times, so let's work together against COVID.
Thanks for staying with us. Recently, we introduced you to a local plant, also considered a superfood, sea purslane, which literally has taken root in many coastal regions around the country. In part 2 of this special feature, we share a little more of the traditions of this plant, its use, and the many ways people have incorporated it into their diets, accessing its many benefits. Lloyd Allen has more.
I spent time in Exuma, Nassau, Eleuthera, Abaco. I had to touch a little bit of all the family islands.
We recently introduced you to Vincent Farmer Pinder, a local resident who says throughout his inter-island travels, he has become acquainted with the plant, sea purslane. He shares more from his days in Exuma.
Along the Exuma Caves where it grow, I hear the old people up there say it got a nickname turtle grass because the turtles come up when it hangs over in cascade along the sea. They come up and eat it.
We asked both him and Salt Lifer Dwayne Ferguson if they would consider incorporating the superfood into their diet.
I never really put any thought into what it would be used for, or if it was even, good enough to put in food, or if it was even consumable.
Well, I would. This is the first time I heard about it. Actually, I think if the turtle could eat it, we could eat it.
Yes, we can. Taking a scroll on the internet, there were dozens of recipes incorporating the plant, including a number of salads, pestos, and yogurt. The key is to start your preparations with blanching. This helps to remove a natural unsavory film from the plant. Once complete, you can incorporate it as you would any leafy green into a dish to make it fresh and adding a salty flair. A bit more on its benefits. Apart from having a high omega-3 and fatty acid content, its leaves also possess phosphorus, manganese, zinc, copper, and calcium. Vitamin A, which is useful in fighting cancer, reducing acne, and supports growth and reproduction, is also found in this tropical superfood. Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Also making news tonight, Progressive Liberal Party supporters, friends, family, and dignitaries assembled at the PLP headquarters in Farrington Road this morning, paying respects and tributes to former tourism professional and Bahamian entrepreneur Cheryl Diana Sanders, a PLP stalwart. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis among those reflecting on her impact.
It's not the bricks and or the mortar, but rather that which, in this instance, what Sherry would have said, what Sherry would have done, and how she would have made us felt during her sojourn here on Life with Us. And when you think about those things, you think about it because it's all banked in our memories. That is where the richness of the experience lie. in the memories that we have of Sherry. That she was PLP, no doubt. That she was a committed and loving soul, no doubt. Generous, no doubt. No nonsense, no doubt.
Well, former PLP Member of Parliament for Tall Pines, Leslie Miller, and former House Speaker Dr. Kendall Major spoke of Sherry's impact on the local community.
Sherry, in 67 years, devoted so much to this country in her work and to her generation. She was like the tale of two cities. She was the mayor of Fire Trail, and then she was Mother Teresa of Fire Trail. She had a confidence, demeanor that commanded respect.
But the most important thing Sherry loved in his whole life, besides her children, was the Progressive Liberal Party. But she had greater qualities than that. Every time I would go to Sherry House, which was often, you would see kids. She had a preschool, but she also had kids living there. She would adopt kids from the area.
Well, as we enter the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, digital wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
The Ministry of Health wishes to advise members of the public that prevention is key during this flu season. Practicing good cough hygiene can make the difference between you and your loved ones getting the flu or spreading the influenza virus. Good cough hygiene habits include covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and proper disposal of the tissue in a trash bin. Coughing or sneezing into your upper sleeve near your inner elbow and not your hands when a tissue is not available. Avoiding the use of handkerchiefs and towels as they hold germs, becoming a nest for the virus. And frequently washing your hands with soap and water, which is listed as one of the most important steps you can take to avoid getting sick and passing the virus on to others. If you have any questions about how to practice good cough hygiene to avoid catching or spreading the flu, contact your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
2022 is a year of positional manifestation.
My God.
I just said something. A year of positional. Now, I know you may have never heard that before. It means, my brothers and sisters, if you are positioned, you are ready for the manifestation. God is going to reveal himself in the lives of people who know their God.
Sundays at 8:30 a.m. on ZNS TV 13.
When engaging in physical activity, it is normal for the body to get tired and fatigued. In the same way, COVID-19 has brought on fatigue, but we must not give up the fight. Wear your mask over your mouth and nose, stay at least 3 feet apart from others, wash and sanitize your hands often, and avoid touching your face. Together, we will win.
COVID cases in the Family Islands appear to be picking up, and many had a lull for some time. Senior Medical Officer Dr. Julian Bartlett explains that the cases from the Family Islands have been in residents as well as in visitors.
It's actually a combination where we are seeing visitors that are visited some local sites on various islands, and then in testing to go back, they would test positive, and then you have also some local employees who work at the site also testing positive. Point in question in that would be like a Bimini, where we saw a number of persons, locals test positive as the result of one of the resorts there. Andros had a small increase in cases, but an increase nonetheless. And increase was Nicholstown, which is North Andros, Central Andros, in the Fresh Creek area, and Camps Bay, which is South Andros, where we had 8 cases in Nicholstown, and we also had 6 cases in Fresh Creek, and 5 cases in Camps Bay, all by real-time PCR.
Well, Family Island Administrator for Central Andros, Margaret Simonet, providing a snapshot of nomination day for local government elections in that district on Thursday. For the most part, she notes it was a smooth process and a number of persons are hoping to be elected.
For the nomination, we had more than normal. We had 40 persons nominated for the local government elections. Mostly young people offered. We didn't have any hiccups at all. But we closed at 12 o'clock, but we had about 8 persons that we had to see after the 12 closure. The next step is for them to go out and campaign, and then we prepare for the elections on the 27th.
Well, it's time now for a check of Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Germanita. Outside of our studios, we are under mostly clear skies with a temperature of 75 degrees. The relative humidity stands at 88%. We have northeast winds at 4 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, that's 1,019.7 millibars at 30.13 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 73s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Turtle, Key, and Marsh, Ababaco, the Berry Islands at 75. Allenstown, Bimini, 74, 76 in Harbor Island. Rock, Sandy, Luttrell, 78 degrees, 75 in Black Point, Exuma, and Camps Bay, South Andros. Fresh Creek in Central Andros, Mercury Column just around 76 degrees, 77s in Otterstown, Cadella, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown at 79 degrees, 80s in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Meguana, 79, Ackland, 79, Matthew Tiny, Nagua, 79 as well, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tower King, and the Paint Center in the Northwest and Central Islands. So winds are going to be light and variable ahead of an advancing front. Wave heights flat at 1 to 3 feet. High tide, that takes place at 11:58 tonight. In the southeast, Bahamas, easterly winds at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Now, tomorrow, Saturday, in the northwestern islands, the winds will swing out of the northeast to east behind that front. The speeds picking up 15 to 20 knots, wave heights up 4 to 7 feet. So caution flags go up tomorrow in the northwest Bahamas. And low tide, that will take place at 7 in the morning. High tide at 12:14 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas, northeast to east winds 15 to 25 knots. Very rough sea conditions at 5 to 8 feet. So we'll have advisory and place for boaters in the central and southeastern islands on Saturday. Now, on Sunday in the northwestern islands, we have an easterly flow maintaining that 15 to 20 knot speeds. Wave heights at 4 to 7 feet. Hence, the caution flags continue. Low tide on Sunday, that takes place at 7:08 in the morning with a high tide at 1:07 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, easterly flow at 15 to 25 knots. Very rough seas, again with advisories remaining in place. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Savings all year long are at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Soy's mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $3.99. Rainbow spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounce, 2 for $1.50. Kraft macaroni and cheese, 7 ounce, 99 cents. Boneless chicken breast, $2.99 per pound. Sweet navel oranges, 4 pounds, $4.99. Shop Super Value and Quality Supermarkets and redeem your quality stamps at Bed Bath & Home.
Getting a COVID-19 vaccine can lower your risk of severe illness or death from COVID-19. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is available, and currently, you'll only need 1 shot to be fully vaccinated. Talk to your healthcare professional about getting vaccinated. Continue to wash your hands, wear your face mask, practice physical distancing, and get vaccinated now.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, what's that?
What y'all getting?
Listen, I've been waiting to wash down some lobster, yeah?
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will be you guys' waiter today. Can I take your order?
Oh, I've been chewing for some grouper dread.
Y'all see this?
See, this ain't gonna work.
Where the fish gone, though?
But how, though?
Don't leave our children with no fish in their future. Protect our sea. Protect our way of life. Protect the Bahamas. To learn how you can help, find us on Facebook at Bahamas Protected. See the future.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we're going to take a look at our satellite picture, and there is a line of showers with some embedded thunderstorms just to the south of the Grand Bahama area. That's associated with a weak front system that's heading our way. That should push through later on tonight, bringing with it perhaps some showers, but very little change in terms of temperatures. Our forecast for tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy conditions, particularly along the frontal boundary, with a couple of showers developing. 69 degrees for your low temperature tonight. And then tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny, breezy with a passing shower or two, 79 degrees for your high temperature. And the extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, we're going to keep some showers in the forecast right through the weekend, taking us into Monday when a second front comes in late on Monday night, early Tuesday morning. But that will quickly dry out on Wednesday, as we'll see a return to lots of sunshine and then a significant change in temperatures, very low 60s during the nighttime, and that should last for several days. Jiminita?
Thanks, Basil. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. As we close, we leave you with a tribute to Sir Sidney from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force on his 92nd birthday. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
Break! Break! Halt!
This is my first appointment.
American, how are you?
I'm British. From British Guiana.
Those schoolgirl days of telling tales and biting nails are gone. But in my mind, I know they will still live on and on. But how do you thank someone
Zachary, I'm a new teacher. Yes, we were expecting you.
The success of the Inagua National Park is due to innovative partnerships between people working at international, national, local, and even corporate levels. A fine example of public and private entities working together is the partnership that has evolved between the Morton Salt Company and the Bahamas National Trust. Morton runs a solar salt operation on Inagua